being done. There it goes. Oh shit, now I gotta fix the angle again. I'm so glad nobody tunes into these. Oh jeez. Just folding the papers today. Sorry, I haven't been making very many videos or posting them. Life's been crazy and hectic, and I don't really know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Just found out today that, at any particularly random moment, I could possibly just be evicted. Even if I do everything that the current landlady asks me to do, because technically her mother owns the apartments and she can just at any moment decide that we don't need to be here. And so I'm struggling with that. Oh, looks like I had someone for a second. Oh, look, somebody's here. That's a first. Who's here? Oh, hello, person, I guess. Hooray, I have a person. I've never got a person here before. Just kind of talking about random stuff as I fold paper, because, yeah. So hi, I'm Magyk. I lost you. Now I'm sad. I don't know why it's been kind of depressing. But no, basically what could happen is basically she's asked us to fix some things, but I know her mother, and I know that she'll find fault with just about anything. So no matter what we do, she won't like it. And and like she said, well, at any moment she could take this back over, and from the sounds of it, as soon as she does, she's just evicting everybody. So I don't like the idea that I could be just thrown out at any moment, especially not since I have 2 small children. So my plan is to try to find somewhere else to be, but the problem with that is I can't afford to live on my own, which means I need to get my dad to leave with me, and he's lived here for 7 years, so and I feel bad for some of the thoughts that I'm having, because they're not very loving thoughts. And, my channel's all about, spread the love, because love always wins. But this time I'm just not so sure, and I just don't know who to talk to. I don't know what to think, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. Apparently I can't even keep people on a live stream because I suck. So, how am I ever supposed to, can't even get my business going. I wouldn't be so concerned, because then I could go live on my own, and then Dad could just figure out his own life here. Of course, even just quote-unquote living on my own, I have to be close enough to where I get a ride to and from work. have Dad come watch the kids while I'm at work or something. Because, you know, my kids aren't old enough to watch themselves yet. I'm just really sad. You know, guys? I just don't... yeah, I know that I'm doing this instead of making a video. Well, technically I'm making a video while I do it, but mostly the reason why I'm doing this is because I have an order due, and I don't have any other time to work on it, and I was gonna, you know, do this earlier, but inspection... I did contact someone though about possibly looking at some houses. I really need some... Hey! Oh, just going, I guess. Life's been really hard, kind of kicking me a lot. I'm really, really depressed. But I'm trying. Here, just making things for an order and trying to talk to somebody, or rather myself, I guess, because you're the first person to stay or say anything. Nope, dropped my paper. So, yeah, no, I've just been talking about my life and, like, you know, how, like, I'm currently in a circumstance in which any second I could possibly be evicted, even if I do everything that I was asked of me, I guess. So that's a little scary for me. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to move or if I'm just going to wait it out and hope it goes away. You know, maybe say my little chant prayer thing that I say sometimes to, you know, help myself feel better. I don't know. It helps me feel better, helps me calm, but it also kind of like, also, I don't know, it's also kind of like a prayer thing, chanting prayer. So I guess I hope that somebody hears it. I don't know who's listening to my prayers or if anyone is, but hey, how about you? How are you doing? I can't get the paper. So many swans to make, so little time. Thank you for tuning in and sitting with me. I appreciate it. You're the actual first person I've ever had actually tune into one of these things and stick around for longer than a couple seconds. So there's that. I'm not used to that. Yeah, chemo. Chemo's not fun. Guessing some form of cancer. That's what that's for. Yeah. I've gone through that twice. I've had 2 different types of cancer. It's no fun. Don't mind me and my giant water bottle. I hope that you take time to recover though, because you definitely need that. I hope that it gets better too. I recently saw a video where they're talking about how being cancer-free doesn't necessarily make you feel better. It does in the moment, but then, like, you know, the reality sets in that, you know, like for me, I have to be tested every like 6 months to make sure it's not coming back. So it's not really, you know, that comforting. I just prefer to try to pretend like it doesn't exist. But I am sorry to hear that. Really do hope that you have that it's successful and you have a speedy recovery. Yeah, energy is definitely a struggle. Like, I didn't feel like I had that much energy prior to it all. And now, even though it's been like 2 years since the last time, I still don't. No, I think my energy's been permanently zapped from me. And it might also be because I have 2 small children, and I had one of them while I was going through that. So yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, energy is real hard. I don't even know how to like pump up energy. I was told that if I like, exercised more, that it would help. But I have a heart problem where my electrical signal to my heart randomly doesn't get sent, so my heart randomly slows down and doesn't beat. So that's a little scary for me, because and I try to exercise or work out more frequently. It aggravates it, I guess, or like sometimes can cause me more trouble than good. Yeah, rest will definitely help. I think sleeping and maybe attempting to eat something is probably the best bet. And that was what always helped me. Eating was not very successful sometimes, though. Of course, even now it's not that successful. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about or want to ask since you're here? And, just watching me fold paper and ramble about random stuff. I'm not wearing my accessories today because, well, landlady came over. Oh, the little swans I'm making, they are for, I have an Etsy shop, but it doesn't do very well, honestly. But before I had the Etsy shop, I actually just kind of sold things via word of mouth. And one of the people that just used to ordering directly from me still does, so they don't really order off my shop. But my shop has been open for 2 years and only has had one order. Yeah, that's what they're for. Give me a sec. I'll show you what the last one was. This was the last one I did for him. He ordered 3, so I'm working on a yellow and black one now. I would show you my peacock because it is the most elaborate and my favorite one, but my baby has recently ripped off a lot of the feathers, so I got to re-glue them because he got hold of them. So, but if I can show you the semi-broken peacock if you'd like. But yeah, I sell them and try to make some extra money here and there, help with my financial situation. Being a single mom is hard. No one tells you how hard being an adult's going to be. They don't tell you how hard being an adult's going to be. They don't tell you how hard being a parent is going to be. Especially not a single parent. No one tells you how hard life is once you hit 18, and just they don't tell you, they don't warn you. They're just like, oh yeah, no, you got this. So here I am pretending like I know what I'm doing, trying to make life happen. So yeah, usually I'd wear my fairy ears and my little double horns with this outfit, but landlady came by today and it felt kind of inappropriate. I don't know. I try to be my authentic self no matter what, but like people that have like the right to evict me, or I don't know, churches and things, they scare me a little bit. Although recently my church is doing a back to the movies thing, so I can show up in costumes now and no one thinks anything of it. Like last time I wore my fairy ears and they were doing the Star Wars thing. And so I guess I passed for an alien. At least that's what my 7-year-old said. I think I make a cute alien. The most exciting thing that happened recently at my job, my like real job, I guess, that I got a special leave. So I'm hoping one day to, yeah, I'm hoping one day to get like, you know, another book published. I have one published, but I'm trying to get, you know, or maybe start making enough with like the origami or like the oils, because I have like spirit oil, which is kind of like a holy oil type thing, and then a light oil for angel work and quilts and things that I make. I also do body pillows. I haven't got those up on the site yet because I just haven't had time. But I'm hoping that maybe one day I can get this to make enough money. Maybe I can just not and just stay home, or maybe when I get my degree and go into victim advocacy, things will look up. I won't have to worry so much about things. But yeah, the Etsy shop is called Magyk's Craft Shop, which is with little, my current, I don't know what it is, a little icon that shows up as like the picture for my channel. I don't know what that's called for some reason, I can't recall. The profile picture, I don't know. That's the little logo that I have for the shop. One of my friends made it, so it was a lot cheaper than trying to get a professional to make it, and I think it's cute. Kind of makes me think of a button. I kind of want to get little buttons with it on it, because I think it'd be adorable. Thank you. That'd be cool. I recently made my first sell on there, but it wasn't a craft item. Someone bought my book from there, but it's also available on Amazon. So Etsy was an interesting choice, because really the only reason to order it from Etsy is if you want it signed, because Amazon has it on Kindle, an audiobook, and paperback, but on Etsy there is an option to get it signed. Well, I guess another reason to buy it off the Etsy shop is that more of the money comes to me than to Amazon. But you know, the main reason I see as a person who'd want to buy it from the Etsy shop would be is because, you know, that way you can get it signed. But so yeah, that was interesting for me. I was so excited. I was like, oh, I got my first one. My dad told me it was sad, but I was like, hey, I'm really happy right now. Don't kill it. So I think this is actually the longest I've stayed on one of these, but then again, I've never had a person here to talk to, usually by myself. So there's that. So aside from resting, got anything cool going on today? It's right in front of my face. Oh god, I'm so bored. Lost my super glue. Oh, cool, cool. Haven't been on Twitch much. Not in a while anyway. I used to watch it a lot. Sounds like the cat's playing with the cat toy in the hallway. I think I lost my login information or something. Can't remember why I stopped logging into that. I think maybe it was also a time constraint. There's so many things to do in my day. I feel like I'm constantly going. I just need to sit and not go, you know? Oh yeah? Yeah, yeah. Does it make good income? Like, I don't know what the requirements for Twitch are for that to work. I know what the requirements on YouTube are. Although initially this channel was started just because my counselor told me it might be therapeutic. So here I am. Years later. Yeah, it's okay. I think on YouTube you have to have like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. That's what I think the requirements are. At least that's the last thing when I looked up it was. I'm only at 107, so it's gonna be a minute. But hey, I got over 100 this year. I feel like that's a big improvement considering for a long time I was teetering at 20 or 30. So, still need time to play that last Duskwood episode. For some strange reason, that second one, the second episode that I did, has like thousands upon thousands of views, and I'm just like, but why though? Why is it the second one? I find all the like audience stats to be interesting. Like last I looked at my analytics, it said that most of my people are females that are between the ages of 18 to 24 that live in Brazil, which I thought was an interesting random tidbit. Apparently most people, though, that do watch this don't actually ever subscribe, so, you know, here we are. Oh, look, a second person has arrived. So, yeah. But, yeah, no, I don't know about other services like Twitch or things like that. At this point, my main source of income is my job. I'm trying to make some supplement income with my little craft shop or writing, because, you know, sometimes unexpected things happen and I need the extra money for that. That was a loud sound. Other times, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I don't know. It fell off the cliff, I guess. I don't know. So do you have any more questions or anything that you'd like me to talk about? Because I seem to, my brain has gone blank. So, like I said, usually I'm just kind of talking to myself in these. I don't usually have people. And since, you know, I have people, it'd be nice to engage. Seem to have lost a lot of random items this past couple days. Yeah, this channel. Yeah, initially my counselor, since, you know, things happened, and for some reason or one another, we weren't able to meet up as often. And so she said that, you know, the goal of therapy, as it's been put to me by many of my counselors, is to eventually get you out of therapy. My problem is that I have 2-ish decades of. Give me a second, I gotta check something. Okay. I have like 2 decades of like trauma to deal with. So I got like severe PTSD, and it messes with me a lot. And therefore, she said that they all told me that I should eventually start having better days and less bad days, and that everything would be, you know, kind of even itself out a little bit over time, and then I'd have more good days than bad, but my PTSD would probably never go away, but eventually I should be okay enough to not need to talk to someone. But that it probably wouldn't happen overnight, because, you know, it is 2 decades. But I told her that, you know, it's not that so much that I feel like I need the therapy, because like we've done all the things and I'm able to combat the thoughts. I'm getting better about not having complete meltdowns on my PTSD. I mean, I'll still have the issue, like I'll flinch, or like I'll like have like a mental meltdown inside my head without showing it outwardly as much, but it's still tough, you know? So they don't know what's So they said that, you know, I told them, since we've done the therapy, I know what to do to combat it. And yeah, okay, occasionally I still do have a really bad day where I'm not able to fight it, but mostly I'm okay. But I told her, just from my own mental sanity, it feels like it's just nice to have someone to talk to, because where I live in a small town. Most of the people I know are people I work with, but like I work with a bunch of teenagers, okay? You can't really talk to them. And all my other friends are like hours away, and they've got their own lives. One of them's getting married. They have like full-time jobs, kids of their own, so they just don't have time to talk. And so I was like, well, I just feel like, you know, having someone to talk to on a weekly basis is what makes me feel better, because I can talk about things that are bugging me, things that have been going on. I can just talk about just about anything, and I don't really need to, you know, do any more like practice, like therapy stuff. I mean, right now we're working on postpartum depression, which is something I do need therapy for, but like previously I was like, for this, I just don't, since we've done all the things, unless I'm like, go back into having bad days all the time, I don't feel like therapy is really what I need. I just need someone to quote unquote talk to, so I don't feel like I'm losing my mind all the time. So she suggested that since we couldn't meet very much at the time, or we were having trouble getting together, that I start making videos and post them to YouTube, is what she said. Because she said then, you know, I could just talk at the camera or to whoever, and then they would be there. And, you know, if somebody replied, great. If somebody didn't, at least I got it out. Because I've tried to journal, and I may be a writer, but journaling isn't my thing. I just kind of feel stupid when I do it, you know, no matter how hard I try. I just can't do it. I'll do it for like a day or two, and then I'll be like, no, my motivation to do it will be gone. I won't do it anymore. But this is something that I could do. And then because, you know, so at first I just kind of uploaded videos talking about things in my life, or like things that I thought were helping me get better. And then eventually I also started adding games and things, because playing games is therapeutic for me. And so since the whole point of this was to be therapeutic, I feel like, you know, why not? So that's where we're at. But also, another reason why I kept the channel for so long, despite, like, you know, aside from therapy and wanting to have something to do with my son, because my older son's really into YouTube, and he really likes the idea that he can make a video with me and the games and things. Aside from, you know, just doing what I have been doing, I do want to eventually maybe share some of my story, or maybe like, you know, I do want to be a victim's advocate, so I felt like maybe I could keep it, maybe it'd be useful in some way to do that. I want to be able to, you know, do something. And so even like, you know, and in a way, I guess, you know, it kind of helps with my death anxiety too, because at least this will always exist. And I don't know, I just want to make a difference in the world. Like my whole message is always spread the love, because love always wins. Like that's my family motto, love always wins. My dad disagrees with that, but that's my motto. And because I believe that no matter what, if you just keep putting love into the world, in the end it will win out. It may take longer, hate is faster, but love is more resilient, more persistent, and I feel like it will win. You just have to give it time. Me and my dad disagree on a lot of things. He's in his 50s though, so, you know, as far as he's not, you know how some people get like happier and nicer, and some people get cynical. I feel like he's getting cynical. That's just me. I get made fun of at work for my giant water bottle here, because yeah, they're like, I don't know how you can drink all that water. I'm like, well, it only holds 64 ounces. Fill it with 60, because that's the amount I'm supposed to drink in a day. It's like, they just think that I'm crazy. I'm just like, well, you know, I want to stay hydrated. Not being hydrated is bad for you. All right, let's stay hydrated. Whenever I don't stay hydrated, I end up on the floor shaking. So I gotta stay hydrated. It's hard for me to want to drink water though, so I kind of flavor it. I don't know what it is. Water, I guess it just doesn't, with all the stuff that we have that has flavor to it, it's kind of weird to drink something that's like almost flavorless. Although different water brands do taste different. I'm trying to figure out how to switch from plastic water bottles to like reusable ones, but the problem is I can't drink the tap water because the tap water has stuff in it, and the city has like a warning saying that you shouldn't drink the water. So I'm like, well, okay, well if I can't drink the water, I gotta buy water. So and we've tried to filter, and the filter did not help at all. Uh, it helped a little bit, but not like a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. Sure, somebody knows. But for right now, I just got my little water bottle there. But yeah, I understand why people are so judgmental nowadays anyway. Like, I don't know. It's like you're being judged for everything, no matter what you do. I feel like being a parent sometimes is just constantly feeling like you're being judged or making the wrong decision. Because now it's like, especially if you have more than one child. Because like when I just had Lou, Cypher, he was a great kid. But like no matter what I did, whether if I did something to make him happy or chose not to do it because whatever reasons, I always feel like I was messing up. I always feel like I was doing something wrong. Now I have two of them, I constantly feel like that because like I can't meet both their needs all the time, and that's sad. Yeah. Yeah, and everyone, and like parents are always, everyone's got their own opinion on how parenting's supposed to go. And all the information on parenting is like completely contradictory. You'll get some that are like, oh well, this is the best way, but then others that'll be like, no, this is, and it's like, what do I do? For me, I try to do connection parenting because I don't know, because I feel like it's the best way to do it for my family and for me personally. Because I'm not the you will do what I say because I'm bigger than you person. And honestly, though, I think both my boys are going to dwarf me at some point, so that won't work forever anyway. And I want to be close to them, so I try my best to do the connection parenting. It's just hard some days. And I think a lot of it is like, I think everyone feels like they're doing it wrong. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, something's wrong with me, and then I find out like another parent actually does feel that way. I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't just a me thing anymore. Maybe it's somewhat normal to feel this way. It's just hard to meet both their needs because like Cypher's always been online schooled. He has ADD, ODD, a couple learning disorders, and he has severe separation anxiety, and from when he was younger, because everyone in his life when he was younger kept disappearing. They'd either die or just take off and never come back, and wouldn't tell him why, and never said bye. So he developed real bad issues when he was little with anxiety of me separating from him, which did not help whenever I had to go through treatment. He does that too. Sometimes though they come up with some pretty good arguments. I'm not sure how to argue it. Oh, jeez. At least my 2-year-old can't talk yet. My favorite thing that Cypher does is this definitely proves he's my kid. I'll be like, hey, I told you not to do that. And then he'll be like, oh yeah, you told me not to do this, but technically I did this, which isn't what you said. And I'm just like, but you still did the thing. And he's like, but I didn't do it the way that you said not to do it. And I'll be like, man, because he's right, but he's also frustrating. So it's like, okay. But now this next year, oh yeah. He's great at finding loopholes and technicalities. He'd do great in that field. Definitely my kid, because that's what I was good at as a person too. He wants to be a robotics engineer, though. That's what he wants to do. Because when he was little, he wanted to do all the, he wanted to do everything. He wanted to be a cop, a firefighter, so he could protect me from all things. He wanted to be a hairdresser so he could do my hair, a chef to cook me food. He wanted to be a doctor so that way he could take care of me when I was sick. Now he wants to be a robotics engineer so he could build robots to do all that. And maybe figure out how to, keep me alive forever. I don't know. He's very, very obsessed with the idea of immortality right now. I don't know. He's going to public school though this year because my 2-year-old Declan has, or Draven, I like to call him Draven, that's his middle name. He likes to, he has to go to ABA services now, so I won't be able to do both, unfortunately. I think right now, Draven, he doesn't talk, but I think right now he's aspiring to be a T-Rex. He practices being a T-Rex a lot, although he has seemed to develop the backup career as the monster under the bed, because he likes to crawl underneath the bed and growl while hiding under it and tries to grab you as you get onto the bed. So I'm pretty sure he's practicing to be the monster under the bed. He is too, and he is adorable. I call him a little monster sometimes, and people are like, did you just call him a monster? I'm like, yeah, he's a monster. He knows he's a monster. He fully embraces this. Every time I say it, he just growls. I was like, yeah, see, he fully embraces it. He knows, but he's my monster, and I love him. He's mostly just aggressive, which is why I call him monster. Yeah. Sometimes I tell Lucifer or Cypher, tell him that he's a changeling. Because, there was this theory when he was younger that he got switched out by the fairies or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, so I'll randomly like, hey, did you know you're a changeling? The other day, he tried to convince me. He's like, so he told me, he said, well, Mom, everyone knows that you're secretly a vampire. And I was like, oh, do they? Oh, but then he said, yeah, you're a vampire witch. Psh, everyone knows. I'm like, then if everybody knows, how is it a secret? And then he tried to convince me that my boyfriend was a mermaid or a merman, and that I was like, he's not. He's like, he is. He's like, ask him, he'll tell you. And I was like, fine, then I will. And I asked him, he's like, I have no idea what this kid's talking. Yeah, apparently my boyfriend's a mermaid and I'm a vampire witch. Go me. Come up with the craziest things. Your daughter sounds cute. I don't know. My boyfriend likes to argue that I'm not a single mom because, yeah, I have a lot of swords too. Mr. asks me what I need them for sometimes. I tell him that, I just like the way they look, and then sometimes I'm like, also if a zombie apocalypse happens, it's my best bet because I can't use a gun, so got bows, arrows, swords. I can't run either, so I'm just gonna have to fight them. Yeah. Started trying to read books again, which means I should probably bring my books to this apartment, but the recent news I got, I don't know. I don't know if it's a smart idea or if it would just be like a hopeful thing. But I pretty much decided that lives are probably going to be my best bet for a little while for me trying to get things, get videos up on a regular basis just because, I haven't had time to actually sit down and make any. So yeah. Also, I'm really behind on a lot of the videos that I had planned because life keeps happening. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I've got like tubs and tubs of books. I would just like to be able to say I've read them. Okay, that's not, I don't want to just own a bunch of books and never have read them. But like at the same time, it's like, you know, I feel like I should bring them so that they're at least here. I can get them on the shelves, and because I have shelves for them now, and because then at least I'm putting out into the universe that everything is going to be okay. You know, the whole what you put into the universe, you know, and get back, I guess. So maybe that would help, and it'd also make me a little less depressed having my books here. But then also, if something does go wrong, it would just be a hassle to repack them up. I mean, I'm sure they have to give us time before they could just, you know, they have to get out, but I don't know. Because the landlady's mother is kind of strange sometimes. Trying to get my degree in forensic psychology. I'm really starting to doubt my ability to do school at this time in my life. I mean, I did get an A in my first 2 classes. Right now I'm sitting at a B in this one. But I'm not going to have a computer here soon, so I'm not going to be able to do as much homework, which is going to be bad. I'm also like out 14 hours behind, I think, on schoolwork. So there's that. But I've also kind of like, I don't know, my I also turned in a paper late recently, which is the first late paper I've ever turned in. So, hooray. I mean, heck, I even got the paper in on time that I had to write while in the hospital room. Like, but this one was late because I was just so exhausted because I was basically up from 6 a.m. to midnight every day. And I was like, oh crap, no, it can't be late. And I knew I was going to be there hours. So I was like, you know, because I collapsed at work. I was supposed to work on it when I got home, but I had a collapsing fit at work, and they made me go to the hospital. And so I was sitting there, like, trying to type it up on my phone. Barely got it submitted. Hooray. But this time, yeah, no, I just been exhausted because all week from Sunday on, I've been up from like 6 a.m. to midnight, sometimes 2 a.m., trying to get everything done, everything organized, everything ready. And so I've just been go. So I came home Wednesday night and thought I'd have time because I caught up and everything. And I was like, it's fine. I'll just work on it now. And I had to put the kids to bed because, you know, they woke up, and so I put them to bed again. And unfortunately, well, because the baby won't go to sleep unless you lie down beside him, I fell asleep with him. Didn't wake up until the morning. I was like, Then I had a meltdown talking to the receptionist at the doctor's office, just trying to get my son's shot record. And it wasn't because she wasn't being helpful. It was because, you know, I came in there and she could tell that I was like really, really sad. And so she asked me what's wrong, and I was like, I don't know if you got time for that. And so she's like, yeah, just, I got nothing to do. No one's coming in for a little while. And I was like, okay. So I just started talking to her about everything. So she came out and gave me a hug, and gave me this nice little card with little Bible verses on it to keep by my bed. I broke down, crying at this receptionist's desk because of life. But, you know, not everything's perfect all the time. Yes. Of course, things in my life very rarely feel perfect. Sounds like Lucifer and Declan are playing. I keep debating on if I should just call them by their real names or if I should just call them by their nicknames that I've always tried to use while I'm on the channel. I mean, I'm sure Lucifer would prefer it if I used Lucifer. I mean, he likes Cypher as a nickname, but it puts him off when I call him it. Because I'm the only one who never has. So. But, you know, it's just because, you know, I don't know, people are weird. I keep telling my dad he should maybe, you know, make his own YouTube channel and go off on his rants there, so I don't gotta listen to him personally. But also because, like, you know, I feel like, you know, he rants so much, it would probably be at least entertainment value. He's like, I'd probably just get people who, like, either A, agree with me, or B, are just like, I just want to see what this guy will say next. Yeah. Yeah, see, that was also the reason, was just because Cypher and Draven, I was, like, you know, trying to, you know, I mean, I'm sure that, you know, anyone who knows me knows who they are, but, like, you know, people who don't know me know them. But, you know, I don't know. Dad's like, I was like, I don't know, Dad. At least, you know, somebody would watch it probably. Because, you know, he needs something to do, so he's not, like, so strung up all the time. Or not all strung up, but, like, wound up. You know, like, you know, when people are, like, super stressed and cranky and tired. I don't know what the terms are. I pretend like I know. Half the time I don't think my brain is fully awake. My hair is starting to get gross looking. Well, not like, it doesn't feel gross, but like the color is fading and I don't like it. Oh yeah, he does. See, he gets mad he calls me a liberal hippie a lot because, like, you know, my views and his views are very different. I've just learned to not respond. We gotta live together in peace. So whenever he's like going off, I just go, just listen. And occasionally he has a good point, and I'll be like, yeah, I agree with that. And okay, and I was like, And then it seems to, every once in a while he'll ask for feedback, and I'll try to give my giving perspective without, like, you know, being too boat rocky. But yeah, no, he's definitely good to have an audience. And, you know, listening to him rant is kind of funny sometimes, so I'm just saying. And he might not do so bad. But yeah, there's definitely an audience for that, I've noticed. I know. Be nice with that one. Oh yeah, I forgot that I was like, that voice, I had to remember who was out there. I was like, oh yeah, we got children over today. Yeah, at work the other day they asked me about my scar. I don't know if you can see it. Right, yeah, definitely fact check. He has a lot of opinions, a lot of things that, like, you know, I just try not to argue because, you know, it's not going to get me anywhere other than us just being mad at each other. So we gotta live together. So for now, anyway, until, like, you know, something happens miraculously. Problem is being a single mom with 2 children, not needing someone here to watch my children like Dad is like slim to none chance. So I don't even know what the age of being technically allowed to stay home by yourself or watch siblings is anymore. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that I recently saw some type of court case or something where someone had left a single mom and went to work and left her 13 or 14-year-old in charge of the kid, and, like, she got in trouble for that. You know. The only one I'm close to is my dad, and he's not even technically my dad. He's my uncle, but he raised me, so I call him Dad. But he's the only member of my family that I have that could watch him. I have my mom's not a no. And then I'm the oldest of 12, and the only one that's like an adult that I have contact with is kind of crazy and on drugs. And she's lost all 4 of her kids, so I'm not leaving her in charge of mine. I've seen how she acts with hers. So that just leaves my dad, because my aunt is in a nursing home. She had a couple strokes and is losing her mind. So I'm just here. Recently found out someone from my past died, apparently. Like 3 years ago. And, but no one knows why or how. So I'm kind of processing that because him and I didn't have the best relationship. He did something awful at one point to me, but then a week later, as he matured and became more nice, I guess, we became friends. I'd forgiven him and all that. I mean, we never really talked about it, but like, I don't know, it's just weird to me to think that he's gone. It's kind of like one of my exes that was like super brutal. When he died, I didn't know how to process it because I was like, well, because last thing I heard was he got the medicine and the help that he needed, so he's kind of stable again, and he was back to the way that I knew him before he had his mental break and had gotten some casts, and then he was just gone. I was like, well, that's crazy. And yeah, no, life is short. Just trying to survive. I really do appreciate you tuning in, though, because it's nice to actually have someone to converse with. Try to figure out what game they're playing. I don't know if you can hear that, but like they're out in the hallway running up and down. So. I hope one day things will get easier. They will eventually, I'm sure. At least that's what everyone tells me. And I don't really consider myself a part of any like religion or anything. I like to say that, I don't know, I like to consider myself to be more spiritual, and I believe in God and things like that, you know. Or I feel like I fit into a religion box, I don't know. Which is okay, and that's fine. Just, you know, makes things confusing, especially when I'm trying to explain them to my dad, because, you know, I'm pretty sure at this point he just assumes I'm atheist, even though I've said that I believe in God. I don't know how that logic works, but there's that. I know that my son's cipher, when he was in kindergarten, his teacher had contacted me because during after he left, because during the parent-teacher conference, him and I were there both talking to her, and she'd asked him, is there anything that you would like me to help you learn more about this year? And he said he wanted to learn about Jesus. So then after, like, you know, he got picked up and stuff, she'd sent me an email asking if it would be okay. Right? You know, I don't believe in organized religion or like the rules that people put in place because of religion. I don't think that anything should be dictated based on your own personal beliefs, because none of us know which one is right or if any of them are right. I've studied a bunch of different religions, and I've just incorporated bits and pieces that for me feel true into my beliefs, and so that's kind of just where I'm at. I had to reconcile, like, because like I grew up Catholic, so I've always believed in God, but like I had to reconcile that with the idea of, like, you know, me believing in other gods and goddesses as well, because, like, you know, I had to figure out how to make it be okay in my brain, because, you know, being raised Catholic, that's like just not a thing. So it took me a lot of soul searching and figuring myself out for that. But I still go to churches though, because I don't know, for some reason, being inside of a church, even though I don't go to like a Catholic church, I go to, because like those places kind of freak me out now as an adult. But I go to like I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like People's Church and places like that, where they have, like, you know, like the big screen, and you kind of watch the pastor up on it, and like I sit in the lobby. Right? I feel like you would, yeah. Like, then they say God is all things, and yet, you know, some also feel like sometimes me and them believe in a very different God, because the way that they talk about God, I'm just like, okay, Well, I believe in God, and a lot of people say it's in the Christian sense, but every time I've talked to God, every time I talk to Christians about God, I feel like them and I have to believe in very different gods. Because the way that they talk, I'm like, yeah, the God that I believe in and the God that I know, yeah, he has these aspects, but he wouldn't do something like that based on this one thing, on this one belief. Like, they just, no. And so it's frustrating for me sometimes. But she'd asked me if it was okay. And the reason why I still go to churches and things is because, strangely enough, it's like, for some reason, just, I don't, not so much for like the sermon, but like the singing, except for like, I just refer to higher power or God instead of like Jesus, or like, sometimes in the place of God, I just say higher power, things like that. Because like the songs, for some reason, make me feel closer. I don't know. It's weird. But now she'd asked me if it was okay because, obviously she wanted to make sure it was alright because that's not something that they're really supposed to talk to children about unless it's okay with the parents. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because she said that she also noted that she also wanted to be careful because she noted that on my religious preferences I didn't really put anything. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. On like my, the information thing that I guess I'd submitted to the school. I was like, no, it's fine. I may not particularly believe in Jesus, but he does. And I always have supported him to look into and research and believe whatever he wants to believe. If it feels right for him, then that's his path. And so, yeah, it's fine if he wants to talk to you about that. And she told me that was she felt like that was a really cool thing as a parent because she's like, most parents just try to get their kids to believe what they believe. And I was like, well, I feel like it's important for him to think for himself and figure that out for himself. So if he wants to believe in Jesus and he feels like that's his path and the right way for him, then okay. If he changes his mind later, okay. I'm going to support him in that. Kind of wish that somebody had done that for me when I was a kid. You reject even as an adult. But people can only expect so much from them, right? I do, this girl at work the other day, she was flicking water in my face, and her and I already have problems, and I was trying so hard, because, I'm the manager, and she's just one of the employees, trying so hard not to freak out, because, and it's not so much that she was just flicking water in my face in itself, it was just that, water in my face, and we've had this discussion when other people have done it before. It's been a thing where we've actually had this discussion that when people, the reason why, like, every time water splashes in my face, I immediately go wipe it off is because it makes me feel like I can't breathe because I've been almost drowned a couple of times. So for me, it like triggers, like, I can't breathe, and so I was trying not to have a panic attack. But I was trying not to also, like, after, like, I fixed the situation, trying not to lose it, because, like, there was, like, customers and things, and I was trying to be okay. But yeah, no, religion's always a tricky topic. But I do try to support my kids to believe what they want to believe. The 2-year-old, I don't think he has much thoughts on anything right now. He's just living his best life and having all the fun he can. My 7-year-old is trying to figure himself out. Alright, yeah, no, I don't know where those are currently. I should probably ask the upper management. They have given me permission that if she is, like, too aggressive or whatever with me, to send her home. The main reason why that did not happen was because she was the only person we had for the kitchen that night. So I was like, fine. Yeah, no. I try to give people warnings. I'm usually like, hey, I need you to do this or to not do that. And then, like, if they don't, like, listen, we'll usually have a talk that kind of goes something like this. Okay, I'll be like, all right, well, I understand that, you want to do this. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was part of my thing. But yeah, she likes to yell at me and stuff. I don't think she understands that I'm, like, firstly, I've got a decade on her, and secondly, I'm her manager. I feel like just out of that, she should, just because I'm her manager, at the very least, she should respect me a little bit more than she does. But like, I'll typically just be like, okay, well, I need you to do this or not do this, because if you continue to do this or not do this, whatever one it is, then I'm going to have to write you up or send you home. Um, Now, most of the people I work with, like, I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with her because we just recently got new owners and we're still figuring out all the rules and what we're supposed to do. But I was like, well, but then most of the kids, though, most of the people I work with will be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And they'll go do it. Every once in a while, I'd get somebody in there, which I almost feel like she might be one of these people that will be like, okay, well, then write me up, or just send me home. And then I'd be like, okay, but you do know I am going to have to do that because I know that you may not need this job, but I do. And I like to think of us as friends. I want us to all be friends. I really don't want to have to be the bad guy, but um, if you can't respect me as your friend enough to do your job so I don't lose mine, then I'm going to have to. And because I'm like, even if you don't respect me as a manager or even as a coworker, I'd hope that you liked me at least a little bit as a friend. Um, but if then usually they'll go do it or not do or stop doing whatever it is they're not supposed to be doing and they won't do it again. But like every once in a while I get that really stubborn person who's just like, no, I'm gonna make you be the bad guy, and then they get mad at me when I'm the bad guy, and I'm like, oh, I freaking told you. Like I told you I was gonna have to do it. I did it. I don't know why you mad. We had 2 talks. I gave you like 3 warnings. I feel like that's way more than enough, and that's probably more than you get from most anyone else. Like, I was talking to one of the upper management people about like how like she likes to kind of sometimes she'll like yell at me and stuff, and she's like, oh yeah, no, she yells on my shift. I'm just sending her home. She gave me permission to do it too, but I'm just like, oh, okay, I can do that. When we have people though, not when it's just when we have like no one, because then I don't know what we do. But health conditions and things have been interfering with a lot of people lately, it seems. Also, I do work with a bunch of kids, so some of them are unreliable sometimes, and other times it's just a scheduling issue. I appreciate you having a conversation with me. I'm gonna need to hop off here though, because I got some homework and children to attend to. But it was really nice talking to you, and I hope that you'll tune in next time. Thank you so much. Just let me know what you think. Alright. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day then. Remember to go out and spread the love, because love always wins. And good luck with your chemo, okay? Remember, I love you, and I'm rooting for you always.